मैं तुम जैसों के हाथ आने वाली भी नहीं।
बोला भागकर कहाँ जाओगी?
छोड़ो मेरा हाथ, ये कहाँ गाँव मजाक है। जंगली कहीं के।
मैं जंगली हूँ?
हाँ हाँ जंगली।
जंगली गरीब अनपढ़ आवारा हूँ, शायद एक नाजुक किसी को छूने की तमीज नहीं।
तू मैडम ने कितना नौकरी पर बंधन के जाएगी और मैं तेरा घर में बैठ के बर्तन मार दूंगा। अरे आ जाओ
क्या बोला तूने? आज मैं तुझे जिंदा नहीं छोड़ूंगा।
So I think I read one of the comments which said so regressive, really. And trust me, I have been working on these edits last 2-3 days and nights, and it is even when we, as part of the editing, we have to see it like 50 times, and every time it manages to shudder me. And unfortunately, there is so much of this in Indian cinema. Like this is just simply the tip of the iceberg, just to give an idea. So I think it's a very, very important topic, and I would really want Deepa ma'am as a film critic and Sunil sir as a filmmaker to please really get into depiction of violence as shown in cinema.
I feel violence against women is, stating the obvious, but it's just a symptom of the disease, which is a gender imbalance, which continues to exist. Though in urban India we say that we're more or less equal, but even in this time we are facing this. We're reading the news, the issue of love jihad. So it's a question of believe they're entitled and women are property to be owned. And when we talk of violence, we just talk of you mentioned that you take it up later. I think the violence against women begins if a woman steps out of the house and she feels she is not safe. And that is the kind of thing which our cinema is not tackling actually. They tackle the extreme violence, but they don't tackle this lingering fear of violence, of possible violence that any woman who's stepping out of home is. They make films like Sacha Adhara, the Marathi film, in which they say, why should a woman be stepping out of the house at 7 in the evening anyway? And if she does, she asks him to be attacked. So that's the mentality which I think our cinema is not fighting enough.
So thank you, Deepa. I just wanted to speak about this idea of how films are also changing, in the sense not really they don't change, but how we perceive them changes, because as a society we are getting woke, so to speak. Like I remember a lot of these portions chosen have been very famous films, and I grew up personally at a time when Beta was a big hit, and we knew all the songs and the dialogues and stuff. Now when I see the same scene in 2020 of a film which I've seen probably 4 times earlier, you shudder even more, that how could they get away with this, like this, the man beating up the woman and saying मैं तेरा खून कर दूंगा, तुझे खत्म कर दूंगा, तूने मेरी माँ को डायन बोला. And that point of time, it was really like the heroic idea of the son doing it, like standing up for his mom and all of that. So films, kind of how the political correctness of what films do to us is also a constantly evolving thing. And somebody like Sunil, who's been making films for all these years, what would your take be on, how this violence has been depicted on screen?
I think it makes sense right now to talk about a film which shockingly enough became a big hit, and that is Kabir Singh. And we are talking of a time when we are supposedly woke, at least in urban areas, and there's a certain amount of freedom that women enjoy. That includes who they want to date or who they want to marry. And then a film like Kabir Singh comes along, which becomes a huge hit. It's a remake of a Telugu film called Arjun Reddy, in which a man just takes claim on this woman because he likes her. He's like, okay, now she's mine. Nobody look at her. Nobody can even talk to her. And when if she even makes a minor sound of protest that she needs to do her own thing, he just slaps her and inflicts a kind of emotional, if not physical, violence on her. And this film we're talking about in current times when we're supposedly woke. That is what actually worries me. That is this wokeness just superficial? And when you scratch the surface, you come up with a film like Kabir Singh.
And what is even more worrying than the film is that the amount of success it is getting. And the audience not just being...
Pati Padmeshwar was made, the title itself being regressive, it flopped. And you thought, okay, people don't want this kind of thing happening. That a woman being subject to all kinds of violence and putting up with it and making a virtue out of putting up with violence. And you thought that kind of thing is over. And then a film in the 21st century, like Kabir Singh comes along, becomes a huge success. And you have women justifying this obsessive or possessiveness of the man, saying that, oh, that's sign of his love. You can't even argue against that. I mean, what argument can you come up with this kind of reasoning or logic?
Yeah. And the constant arguments, like as filmmakers or content makers, theater makers, we face is that, oh, but this is working. Like for the producers, it is making a lot of money. And they're saying the women are liking this also. And like I've spoken to my cousins and, people who've seen this film in the theater, and I would be asking them and they'd be like, but yeah, cinema is supposed to be not like life, right? It's good to see somebody who's like very obsessive and that Shah Rukh Khan writing a name of the girl on his chest and all, like, so it's kind of being a part of our culture that we've kind of allowed these things to happen. And we only suddenly wake up when something happens in our society, when there's a rape case or there is a brutal incident of any kind of violence. That is the time the candlelight marches happen. But when it comes to cinema, somehow we tend to be extremely forgiving, which is why I would want to ask Sunil sir, because Sunil sir wrote a very interesting article on Kabir Singh. It's in Marathi, and for those of you who understand Marathi, we could send you the link. We could send you that article. It was published in one of our magazines, Purush Spandan, that Mahua produces every year. So Sunil, could you speak about?
Yeah, I totally agree with Deepa ji. And in fact, as a filmmaker, when I started working with Sumitra ji, when I was very young, and since then I have been watching films and analyzing films. And what I feel is, most of the time, the audience and the makers both keep justifying that, it's the imitation of life. So what we are showing is imitation of life. So life is like that. And if we don't show that, then it's unrealistic. So in any case, they are making escapist cinema, and which is not realistic, but still they keep defending it as the depiction of reality. So you can't question exactly, because you find all such things happening in the society. So in a way, it's a depiction of society in films. What I feel very interesting is, obviously, violence against men, against women, will be a part of the story which is being shown on screen. You can't avoid that, because that's many a times it's a part of the story, and you have to show some amount of violence. The point is, through the whole story, what is the attitude of the filmmaker? So actually, what the thing in question should be, why the film was made and with what attitude that film was made. So the whole patriarchal attitude comes, as the attitude of the filmmaker. And so the depiction of violence becomes, it's put on screen for the men in the audience to enjoy. So that's more, problematic for me. Because otherwise, if you ask the filmmakers, they would ask you a question, but why do you want us to be politically correct? Because you can't depict everything which is happening politically correct. And then no story can be told. Because if all the characters start behaving politically correctly, no story can move ahead. So we want the characters to behave politically incorrect. That's how we create conflicts, and that's how we create the conflict in characters and bring in some dramatic elements in the story. And that's how we reach out to our audience. So even about Kabir Singh, when I wrote that article, I watched the film twice, and it was a very interesting, complex experience for me. Obviously, the first few minutes of Kabir Singh, any man like me would say that during the whole ragging period of the college, the way, with the help of that so-called ragging atmosphere, he creates a kind of claim on that girl. And slowly she falls in love with him. But slowly, when it progresses, you see Kabir Singh slapping that girl, but after some time, you see that girl slapping Kabir Singh. So that also an interesting twist, which comes around, say, the middle of the film. And more importantly, what I felt was, if we accept that that's a passionate couple fallen in love with each other, and then comes the whole entry of the father of the girl and the younger brother. So those are again men, and who are not ready to acknowledge that love. So in a way, what I feel is, when we think of patriarchy, it's a mistake which we can do, that we can question Kabir Singh for his dominating behavior, but we don't question the father and the younger brother having a claim on her life and her decisions, because that comes as a family value. So most of the times what happens is, the whole characterization and the story is told in such a way that when a man is binding by the patriarchal values, which are our so-called Hindu joint family system and so-called regressive Indian culture, when he is representing that, no one questions that domination and that violence which is caused on the female characters in the film. I remember in a discussion recently, an online discussion, someone was asking a question that why all this violence is being portrayed in these OTT platforms and web series. I said, you are questioning all those web series because it's threatening your secured value system. But I can tell you a story where a man who doubts the fidelity of his wife and pushes her into fire. And that story is called Ramayana. But you don't question that, the Ramayana, you watch it with a worshipping attitude. And we don't look at the character of Rama as a violent character who is treating his wife badly, because it's suitable for our religious and patriarchal religious and family beliefs. So that's a very complex thing. And with all this complexity, what we should tell the audience to learn to decode the images portrayed on the screen, rather than asking for being political or politically correct.
No, I think what is important is to, no matter what the story being told, is what is the takeaway. When the audience is coming out of the film, are they, when they've been subjected to scenes of violence against women or any kind of violence, are they coming out of the audience, of the audience, admiring that violence as a sign of machismo or bravery, or are they coming being sickened by the violence? And when you mentioned patriarchy, Sunil ji, you mentioned something very interesting about the father and brother. And here I must bring out one of the biggest hits of all time in Hindi cinema, Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. Everyone says, oh, romantic film, but nobody questions the patriarchy. Nobody questions the fact that it's the father's approval that the couple is seeking. When the mother says, look, love each other, please, run away and you get away from this atmosphere. He says, no, I want the father's blessings. And it's only when the father says, Ja Simran Ja ji le apni zindagi, does the girl think that it's okay for her now to chase after, the train which is taking with the guy. But nobody questions it. Why is it that an adult girl who's been brought up in a Western society, let's forget the Western society, but in an educated modern way, it still needs and if the father had not said Ja Simran Ja ji le apni zindagi, she would have married the village guy and settled in Punjab. I mean, just like in Kabir Singh, if the girl had said no to him, what would he have done? which we are seeing what men who have been spurned do. I mean, acid attacks, stabbings. We don't even go to that level to question that. Okay, what beyond this story? We come out and saying, okay, happy ending, but what should be going on in our minds is what is beyond the story.
Absolutely, and what you used a very important word, take away. What is the audience taking away? Because as I said earlier, like filmmaking is also film watching is a communal experience, at least before the lockdown, where we would all be in a multiplex or a single screen or wherever. And I, since the last few years, was getting very, very disappointed by the kind of experiences I was having when going to watch a film, because let us say like a film like Thappad, which with all its well intentions of speaking about a topical theme, but has its kind of patronizing approach to the filmmaking. But every time like the servant, the maid is being beaten up by the husband, the audience is actually laughing, and it's like, oh wow, kya suna diya na, bahut bol rahi thi, ek de diya. And you really feel uncomfortable that like we don't know what is the intention of the filmmaker, but you are really seeing what kind of an attitude or a prejudice it is kind of propagating. Or it be a film like Dhoom Laga Ke Haisha, or I think it was called, which had Ayushmann Khurrana having an overweight wife, and he had to carry her, and there was some race, and of course not a great film, but the entire audience was out there eating their popcorn to just laugh at somebody being overweight. And that defeats the point of the film or the experience. So, which is why at this point I would like to ask Praveen. Praveen Thote has been working at grassroots levels with so many boys and men, and for whom films would have a very important role in their consciousness. तो आपका क्या एक्सपीरियंस रहा है कबीर सिंह जैसी फिल्मों को लेके? लोग जो ऑडियंस जो टेक अवे की बात की हमने, वो कैसे उसको टेक अवे, क्या अंतःसरण कैसे कर रहे हैं उसका?
थैंक यू सो मच सचित। मेरे साथ जो लोग पैनल में वो काफी बड़े लोग हैं, काफी बड़ा एक्सपीरियंस है। मैंने ज्यादा कुछ इसके बारे में पढ़ा नहीं है, लेकिन मैं पिछले 10 दिनों से महाराष्ट्र के एक जिले के गांव में हूँ, और मैंने 10 लड़कों और लड़कियों से इस फिल्म के बारे में बात की। उसमें से 8 लड़कियों ने कहा कि ये फिल्म उनको काफी पसंद आई है, और मैंने उनसे सवाल पूछा कि आपको क्यों ये फिल्म पसंद आई। तो उसमें से एक लड़की ने काफी इंटरेस्टिंग जवाब दिया है कि आज के जमाने में इतनी मोहब्बत करने वाला लड़का कहाँ मिलता है। मैंने कहा कि इस फिल्म में तो काफी सारा वायलेंस दिखाया है, मारपीट हुई है। उस लड़की ने जो एक महत्वपूर्ण जवाब दिया, उसका कहना था कि शादी के पहले और खास तौर पर शादी के बाद जिस तरह की हिंसा उसका पति करता है, उसके घर वाले करता है, उससे तो कम हिंसा कबीर सिंह ने की है। और एट द एंड ऑफ द डे वो अपनी गर्लफ्रेंड के साथ शादी करता है, उसके साथ रहता है। तो इतनी हिंसा होने के बावजूद भी अगर आपको चाहने वाला व्यक्ति आपको छोड़कर नहीं जाता, आप भले वो मारपीट करता हो, वो कुछ भी करता हो, लेकिन आपसे अगर मोहब्बत करता है, तो उनके लिए इस तरह का कबीर सिंह काफी आइडियल माना जाता है। फिर मैंने सवाल पूछा कि आपको
actually Praveen, if you don't mind, I would just like to translate the gist of it in English for the people who don't understand Hindi. That it's a very telling and startling point. He said that when he spoke to some women in his village about why they liked Kabir Singh, they said that compared to the kind of violence they would experience in normal life before marriage or after marriage, the violence that was shown on screen was really mild, and it really made him a passionate or an intense lover. And so it's, you can see like the cancer has spread so much into our society, into our system, to such an extent that we are kind of really like looking at kiska violence kam hai, kiska zyada hai. So it was an important point, so I just wanted to translate it. Praveen, please continue.
फिर एक लड़की को ये सवाल पूछा कि आपको लगता नहीं क्या कि इस तरह का वायलेंस, इस तरह की हिंसा आपके पर्सनल लाइफ को कहीं ना कहीं अफेक्ट करती हो। उसने जो मराठी में कहा की जर सर तुमची एक गाडी आहे आणि जर तुमच्या गाडीला दुसऱ्या व्यक्तीने रंग लावला, काहीतरी मारलं, तर तुम्हाला राग येणार नाही का? उसका ट्रांसलेशन इस प्रकार से है कि आपने अगर कोई नई गाड़ी खरीदी है, उसको किसी तीसरे इंसान ने, व्यक्ति ने रंग लगाया हो, खरोच लगाई हो, तो आपको गुस्सा नहीं आएगा क्या? तो कबीर सिंह में जो दिखाया गया है कि उसको प्रीति को एक तीसरा व्यक्ति जब होली के दिन रंग लगाता है तो कबीर सिंह को गुस्सा आता है। तो उसका कहना था कि अगर आपकी किसी वस्तु को अगर तीसरा व्यक्ति हाथ लगाएगा तो ऑब्वियस है आपको गुस्सा आने वाला है। तो इस प्रकार की हिंसा हमने इंटरनलाइज की गई है, उसको लीगलाइज किया गया है। हमने एक्सेप्ट किया है कि हाँ भाई, जो प्यार करता है, जो मोहब्बत करता है, वो मार सकता है। तो ये दो एक्सपीरियंस मुझे काफी शॉकिंग। जब मैंने लड़कों के साथ बात की तो उनका जवाब इस प्रकार था कि सर, लड़कियों को भी अगर कबीर सिंह जैसा लड़का पसंद है, दाढ़ी मूछ वाला, दारू पीता है लेकिन उसकी केयर करता है, वो हिंसा करता है, उसके लिए किसी को मार सकता है या फिर मर सकता है, तो हमें लगता है कि हमने भी इस प्रकार का कबीर सिंह खुद बनना चाहिए जो किसी लड़की को पसंद है। तो ये दोनों चीजें कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगती है कि हमारे सिनेमा के थ्रू काफी इन्फ्लुएंस करती है हमें। और जब मैंने एक 50 से 60 उम्र के व्यक्ति के साथ बात की, जब हम लोग अभी बात कर रहे हैं कि कबीर सिंह जैसी फिल्म में लड़कों के भीतर टॉक्सिक मैस्कुलिनिटी क्रिएट करती है, तो उनका एक ये कहना था कि आजकल की औरत जो अधिकारों की हक की बात करती है, उन पर भी फिल्मों का असर है। तो उनका कहना है कि औरतों को फिल्में ही नहीं दिखानी चाहिए। तो एक जनरेशन जो गैप है, एक 18 से 30 साल के बीच के लोग जो बात करते हैं कि नहीं, ऐसी फिल्में हमारे समाज का हिस्सा है। लेकिन कि जब मैं मुंबई में मावा की ऑफिस में बैठकर जब मैं सोचता हूँ कि यार सारी दुनिया में जो एक जेंडर बेस्ड वायलेंस है वो खत्म हो जाएगा, क्योंकि हम लोग बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं। मैं जब गांव में आता हूँ तो मैं देखता हूँ कि 80% से ज्यादा लोग इस हिंसा को स्वीकार करते हैं। वो मानते हैं कि चलेगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। मतलब अभी भाई दूज के दिन भी कितने घरों में हिंसा हुई है और उसी दिन हमने भाई और बहन के बीच का प्यार भी सेलिब्रेट किया है। तो वो एक धड़कन फिल्म का एक डायलॉग है जिससे मैं ये खत्म करना चाहूंगा कि तुम मुझे भूल जाओ ये हो नहीं सकता, और मैं तुम्हें भूल जाऊँ ये हो नहीं सकता, और तुम मुझे भूल जाओगी मैं ये होने नहीं दूंगा। तो आई थिंक ये फिल्में जो मैंने रियल लाइफ में एक्सपीरियंस किया है लोगों के साथ, ये इतने भीतर बस चुका।
Thank you, Praveen. I'll just maybe translate one or two very important points that he mentioned. That one of the things that he asked in his village about this film Kabir Singh, and somebody said that, you know, if you have a car and somebody scratches your car, then it's kind of all right for you to be violent or, you know, be extremely agitated about it. And this was in comparison to the scene in Kabir Singh where his so-called girlfriend, somebody put color on her on Holi, and Kabir Singh beat the shit out of that person. So just to give you an example, and what was even more shocking is that he said that in 2020, some people said that actually the women are being influenced by these corrupt ideas of feminism and women's emancipation through these films. And now it's very easy to, you know, like blame everything progressive and kind of blame the Westerners for it, or the Western influence or the liberal influence, as it is very popular to say. And somebody actually recommended that women should not be allowed to see films. Should not be allowed to see films, which I thought was very, very shocking that, you know, we are talking things like this. But Praveen, thank you. आप grassroots level पे आप अपने village में रह के ये सब बातें कर रहे हैं लोगों से और हमें ये बता रहे हैं. My next person I'd like to invite is Rashmi Lamba. Since you have, you have also seen it as a part of Samabha Film Festival. You have also interacted with how the students are opening up to cinema as a medium. You being a baker yourself, and also been in the business side of, you know, curation or distribution or networking. So you've also seen it how internationally violence against women is being taken with so much seriousness. And then in a country like ours, where as he said that, you know, on Bhai Dooj there would be so much violence, but we'd be continuing. So how do you make kind of sense of, you know, all this, and where do you see the future?
It's just, I think this subject is something that's been fascinating ever since we've all come into this film, business, as he said. And I think talking about grassroots level right now, I can say, because we said the topic of this discussion is real to real. And I can say from personal experience that, when I got married, my husband actually is listening. We went off to Bihar, and this is in the 80s. And the the one thing that I had to discuss for the very first year of my marriage, because I stood out as a urban woman who had come into a rural, semi-rural setting, we were posted in some back of the beyond, was what will I do if I get raped? Because the one threat that I faced right through was rape, right through. That was the danger, that because I stood out and I was, somebody. And I read a very interesting, I think there's a quote from John Berger that one of our participants, Pallavi, who's here as well, she's done her dissertation on her PhD on this exactly. And it says, men look at women and women watch themselves being looked at, So my point being that I think rape and violence is something that is so deep rooted for some reason, not just in India, but right across, because I saw a very interesting documentary called The Better Man. And when we are talking about the fact that the women accept this as status quo, there was a documentary called Better Man where a filmmaker and she had gone through violence in her relationship, and long story short, the man did get a jail sentence for that in Canada. I'm talking about Canada because I currently am here for a while. And then the documentary, she meets him and she, asks him why he did all that. But the question addressed to her was, why did you accept it? And she says that because that was what I thought is the normal. And this is what we're seeing in the films as well, that, as we're discussing, and Deepa is, I think, going to join us again. The danger is, why are the women accepting this? Is I think the question that I was working on a documentary, and the research we were doing on that is that the women accept the fact that, yes, it is something that we should be not as equal to men. And that is why I've been very inspired by what the Geena Davis Institute for Gender and Media, which is who I volunteer with and do some work with them. And I'm very fascinated by the research they do, because the one byline that they have is, if she can see it, she can be it, is what the Geena Davis Institute. Geena Davis is a Hollywood actress she's won Oscars for her work. And that's what she says, that, we have to portray the women in stronger roles. And we have to figure out how we can convince the women not to accept these things as normal, and it is patriarchal, it is misogynistic. And talking about the fact about the Samabhav Film Festival, to me, is the most fascinating experience I've had, because just before the lockdown, we were actually in Banaras, which is, as fundamentalist and rooted as you can get in terms of the strong values. And what is very interesting for the festival, because I think Harish curates it beautifully with such powerful films, but the youngsters are wanting to question. They're wanting to ask those questions. These are safe spaces. And that's another very important thing that I think Samabhav does, is it creates that safe space for girls, boys, educators, and people of different ages and different genders. We've had some experiences that as well. They have that safe space to speak out, question, and many of them say that we've never questioned, we've just accepted. So I think, there are lots of points that we are discussing here which are very, very important, which is, as Deepa very rightly mentioned, the patriarchy of the family. We're still in that situation where the girl has to accept what the family says. So these are the issues that our films need to question, relook at, and we have to have dialogues like we're having right now.
But now I would like to take it to the next level, which is the second video, where, a lot of people we'll meet who would say that, yeah, I'm not into films. Oh, but films are for it's a opium for the masses, or I'm into a certain kind of film, or I only watch Netflix, or I only watch this. But there is one thing which, as an Indian society, we can never kind of undo, which is how our songs have become a part of our culture. Whether it's a celebration, or whether it's a party, or whether it's anything, like how the kind of content we consume. So songs and how they kind of have a subtle kind of an influence on our behavior patterns, and how they are also in some sense kind of propagating the same problems that we've been talking about.
So, whenever you go to censorship, again, it's another problem you have to face. I remember we have made a film called Pani. It was way back in 1987. And there was a scene where the husband at midnight slaps his wife and tells to bring drinking water. So she has to walk miles to get the drinking water at midnight. So that was an important scene for us. And that slapping was very important for our story. And when it got national award, it was shown on Doordarshan. That particular shot was deleted, and they showed something else. They edited themselves, and they put something else on the screen. And when I saw that, I said, "How can you censor the shot?" And their pretext was that they don't want to show the violence against women on screen on Doordarshan, because there should be everything nice and good on television. So that's another interesting thing, what you censor and what you don't censor. So
yeah. And that very important point that, this kind of sanitation, that everything, our culture, our
from
society.
The government,
Yes, exactly. So now, while in the first video, we saw some clips which were disturbing. I apologize for that. But maybe the filmmakers are not apologizing, so I have to apologize. But now we will see something which is probably a little more sanitized. Like, you don't obviously see some kind of violence here, no hitting, but you will see that how these kind of things translate to songs.
वो नीली वाली है ना, वो मेरी है। नहीं, एक तू पीली वाली ले, पीली वाली ज्यादा खूबसूरत है, नीली वाली मैं लेता हूँ। नहीं, मुझे नीली वाली चाहिए यार। नहीं यार, तू कैसा आदमी है, एक दोस्त के लिए कुर्बानी नहीं कर सकता। विकी, तू दोनों ले ले यार। राइट।
Fantastic! What a beauty! क्या बात है, लाजवाब है। चलती क्या है? ऐसा लगता है जमीन पर नहीं, हवा में तैर रही हो। नया मॉडल लगता है, कंडीशन भी A1 है। वाकई बहुत अच्छी कंडीशन है। वाह, रंग कैसा लगा तुम्हें? दिल चाहता है इस रंग में कभी भंग न पड़े। बड़ी संभाल के चलाने वाली चीज है। और संभाल के। बॉडी तो कमाल की है यार। ये देखा, वही तो देख रहा हूँ बबुआ। क्या गाड़ी है, क्या नंबर है, क्या बॉडी है, क्या बम्पर है। ऊपर से देखो, नीचे से देखो, आगे से देखो, पीछे से देखो, कहीं से देखो जी। हाय क्या बात है, हाय क्या बात है।
बैक मारती है, करंट मारती है, बैक मारती है, करंट मारती है। देखो ये लड़की करंट मारती है। खड़ी रहो, बैठ जाओ, घूम जरा, पास आओ। खड़ी रहो, बैठ जाओ, घूम जरा, पास आओ। ऊपर से देखो, नीचे से देखो, कहीं से देखो जी। हाय क्या बात है, हाय क्या बात है।
So I guess the point is more than made here, like the objectification of the woman and the comparison with the car and this idea of the possessing. And as you see, like very, very popular heroes and actors have done this in the past. Probably whether they'll do it now is questionable, or they'll do it with at least it will have the claim of, oh, we are woke. Whether the film will actually reflect that or not is another question. But yeah, I think now we can really be speaking about like some of these songs you might have heard, but how you can really, like, it's not very difficult to make the connection between these kind of images, the songs, the choreography, and the violence we hear about in real life.
No, I think I think the item number is such a huge topic of discussion. I think it's a whole different panel. But I just think that, the voyeuristic camera angles, I think even Shabana Azmi said this in an interview with the song regarding the, tandoori chicken and all those comparisons, that voyeuristic angles and the way, the women are being depicted in skimpy clothes doesn't really celebrate a woman's body. I don't know why in Indian cinema or even in Hollywood, that's a huge problem that, we just sort of we think it's a celebratory thing. So I would like to open it to the chat that, do item numbers, are they there for commercial titillation, to draw in audiences? What role does everybody see the item number as? Because I think that's such a huge part of Bollywood. And as you said, that's a subtle form of inciting some sort of gender violence that can happen, because I think we have a lot of examples where girls have spoken that when they walk, the whole idea of stalking, what is our idea of romance? Are we perpetuating these values by boys playing these songs when a girl enters a college canteen or when she's walking by? And I know we have instances, as you mentioned in your online on loitering, that, women actually have to change their route. It's all about that male gaze. Everything is being seen through the male gaze. So the films, as Sunil rightly said, they're being made from that male gaze. And that then results in what we would say real to real, where then the violence gets incited. We have a very interesting book that's being discussed these days called Why Men Rape, in which there's a whole chapter that the author Tara Kaushal has put on Bollywood. And, these are men she found who are not in jail. They're actually out there. And one of them, he's actually made it his anthem because he wants to take revenge against a girl who ditched him and did not agree to what he wanted. And she said that when she met him, Tara Kaushal, the author, says that, and these are real men living out there in society. And his whole anthem, which he used to listen to on a loop, was "Tujhe maar diya jaye ke chhod diya jaye." So, they're internalizing these lyrics. So I think we have to discuss the whole idea about what are these lyrics. And as I think we were discussing in one of our pre-meetings, is that all of us remember the lyrics and we all remember the dialogues. It's just kind of internalized. It's somewhere where we memorize it more than maybe our history lesson of, when was the Battle of Panipat fought or something. So I think, Sunil, you'd have a lot to say on that. I know Deepa had a lot to say as well.
Yeah, actually, and the most unfortunate thing is, we Indian people in our culture, we are afraid of romance, and what we see on screen is the violent objectification of women. So that's very ironical, because we are afraid of real love. So we don't want our girls to fall in love. And so we create a society where the girls would feel afraid to fall in love because of the whole circumstances. So because to love someone, the person should be free. So on the one hand, we restrict their freedom. On the other hand, we create a society which will make women and girls afraid of the society. And on screen, what we'll project is the objectification. So in a way, particularly as you rightly mentioned, Rashmiji, the item numbers was the recent addition to the whole Bollywood culture. Because earlier, the dancing around the trees of heroes and heroines was quite, in a way, innocent compared to all these item numbers. When the word item number explains the whole thing. They call the girl as item. So the item number is the number on which you see the item. That's the thing or the
product. the product.
So that item is dancing. So it's the height of objectification. I remember I had written an article on Jumma Chumma De De song long back. The film worked very well, and the story of the revenge story of Hum, and that was on another level. But when it comes to that particular song of Jumma Chumma De De, it's not just the hero asking for a chumma. He's asking for a kiss. But you see hundreds of men banging their glasses of liquor and asking for chumma. So in a way, and in front of all of them, he has a big hosepipe in his hand and he makes her wait in front of all that. So in any case, this cannot be love. So this is the height of objectification, and the hero is allowing all his fellow mates and friends to enjoy the whole objectification of his lover. So this kind of a behavior, the men in the audience, when they start liking it, and particularly in the item numbers, when you see that many men are actually physically handling a woman, I think that's inviting rape culture. So when it really comes to censor board or banning something, I would say the violence which happens part of the characterization, or even some mistakes even some filmmakers can create, that can be, I'm ready to sort of give them a benefit of doubt, but not the item numbers, because that's totally a patchwork which is not necessary for the storyline, and that's it's a totally different patch created just to give men the pleasure, which is objectification plus violence, and enjoying it in the name of item number. So it doesn't take the men in the audience towards a beautiful thing called love or romance. In fact, it leads them to more and more violence. And so particularly the men in audience start craving for violent sex rather than a romantic love. So that's a very unfortunate thing which we have created in our society. And because of all these years, people have been watching these kinds of item numbers. I see that that something happens like which is shown in the serial Delhi Crime, the big crime which happened in Delhi or even in Hathras. So the whole attitude of men is in a way, as a species, they start disliking or they want to kill the girl, they want to abuse the girl rather than love that girl. So I think that's a big defeat of our society, and it is created by so many years of item songs in last 20-25 years, I think.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Sunil. And, if Deepa Ji is here, I would really want to speak about how in the recent times, we have so-called topical films where some issues are addressed, but within that, actually, it's doing a larger disservice to the theme because it's propagating certain ideas. And she mentioned a little earlier about Thappad being as a fake feminist film, and if we all want to talk more about that, even though the idea of this session is not really Bollywood bashing, so to speak, and Bollywood is not really a legit word also, but the idea is that if we are a country which has so many people, so many films are being made every year, which are reaching so many homes and their devices, then there is something that can be corrected about this mechanism, because the medium is here to stay. So
actually, many films have been made about revenge stories and revenge taken by women. But in those films, under the garb of those so-called revenge films, basically what first you show is, you make the audience indulge into the harassment of women and the rape and everything. For example, like the film, like Insaf Ka Tarazu, they claim that they are being on the side of the woman who is raped, and the whole courtroom drama and everything. But it begins with a big scene of rape where the audience is allowed to enjoy that rape scene. So you can see, for example, in comparison to that, I would say Shekhar Kapoor's Bandit Queen, when he has to portray a scene where Phulan Devi was made to bring water from the well by the whole community. And that was in a way a nude scene. And it was a big scene of harassment, but it was shot with a dignity. And it shows how the filmmaker is not on the side of the male audience who want to enjoy that sort of a scene. So it's basically the mindset and the attitude of the filmmaker.
I also wanted to make a point that, again, it was something which I was listening to a session through the Geena Davis Institute, which partnered with two very important foundations like MAVA, called the Pramundo and Caring Foundation, where, you know, if we reverse it, they're also talking about the stereotypical image of the man. What do we do with masculinity? You know, which is the male had to be that aggressive and powerful. And is the male always sexually driven? You know, so I think, as you rightly said, that the filmmaker has to, I mean, all filmmakers, not just Bollywood, as you said, it's not Bollywood bashing. We're talking about the impact of the medium of film. As I think the very first lesson I learned when I was studying film was what Marshall McLuhan said, that, you know, the medium is the message. The medium, and he puns on it by saying medium is the massage. Is that also how we are depicting masculinity? That is a very important point to be discussed, because the male then has to live up to that to some extent, you know. And sometimes he have to take revenge. He has to be sort of, you know, the stalker. He has to prove that. And as I think Praveen made a very valid point, Praveen, aapne itna important kaha hai ki, especially I would say in small towns, you know, then the woman expects that masculinity out of the man. Otherwise she thinks he's a wimp, or, you know, and you have to have the biceps. And so I think that's a whole different angle to it as well, because you were talking about revenge, I think. And I think, Praveen, we were also talking about the idea of romance and stalking. I think that in itself then leads to whatever the outcome would be.
Yeah, and sometimes it comes as under a very cute garb. I remember a film, Dil Chahta Hai. I'm really taking the example from the mainstream cinema. You see the character played by Amir Khan, and at the end, when the Mangetar of Preeti Zinta, who is played by Ayub Khan, he in a way allows her to break the marriage. And when she asks Amir that अगर ऐसा किसी ने तुम्हारे साथ किया होता तो तुमने क्या किया होता? So when Amir plays a mischief, Ayub Khan slaps him or एक गुस्सा लगा देता है. But the answer given by Amir Khan's character is that I would have killed that person. So the girl likes such a man who is ready to kill someone for her, rather than a person who, in a way, you know, allows her to break the marriage and marry someone else. So for us, the Ayub Khan's character is still a negative character, and Amir Khan's character is a positive character for us. So we don't, it comes under such a cute garb that we don't even recognize that, oh, here comes the toxic masculinity. And because we feel for that character and we see that, oh, how much love he is showing for that girl.
I'm very tempted, you know, that now that this discussion has been going on about different kinds of masculinities and why are we being shown only one hegemonic kind of masculinity. So I'm just going to be like speaking a little about one project that we are making called Mard Hamdard, which is a collage film which takes material from other films of examples of non-toxic masculinity. As you see, the others are quite enough. Toxic ones, you will find it in every film, every decade. You know, either the villain is doing it, or the hero is doing it, or the hero is doing it subtly. And we have the third visual clip, which opens like a very interesting aspect of our discussion, which is actually a slightly modified promo of Rashmi's film. And maybe Rashmi can tell us a little about the film after that.
What you're about to see will disgust you. 30 cops caught on hidden camera in a Tehelka exclusive with NDTV, blaming women, their clothes, their behavior, and even their mothers for rape.
इनाम दे रहे हैं, दान नहीं। प्यार से दे रहे हैं, रख लो, वरना थप्पड़ मार के भी दे सकते हैं।
We signed up to be a public figure, not a public property.
Then you can't change the girl. Change the girl.
जीन्स डालते, फिगर बताते, इसके लिए लड़के लोग उसके ऊपर पागल हो जाते हैं, इसके लिए वो लोग छेड़ते हैं।
I don't think a woman is objectified. I think that, you know, it's pretty hypocritical because, you know, we say that we don't want the item songs, but when every nightclub, every party, every wedding that you listen to, you're listening to Baby Doll and you're listening to every item song from Chikni Chameli to Fevicol.
मैं तो तंदूरी मुर्गी हूँ यार, कटकाले सैया अल्कोहल से।
If you are saying मैं तंदूरी मुर्ग हूँ, मुझे खा ले, मैं तैयार हूँ, मुझे चटा ले और घटा ले or whatever, what are you doing? It's no cause for laughing. If not, you're saying come and attack me.
हर रील में एक रेप सीन हुआ करता है।
Grown up watching songs, Bollywood songs, where eve teasing was a form of romance.
I would rather say like 80s is a time when they're more like a glamorous component of the movies, you know, dancing around the trees, you know, being kidnapped, being raped, being killed, you know.
इन जैसी लड़कियां हम जैसे लड़कों के लिए ये सब करती हैं।
जो एकदम कड़क माल होगा उसको ही चढ़ता है, बाकी किसको नहीं चढ़ता।
कड़क माल यानी कौन सा? जो अपना सब कुछ दिखा दिखा के चलती रहती है।
हम नकाब पहनते हैं, हमको लगता है कि हम सुरक्षित हैं।
Voyeuristic camera angles, vulgar lyrics, they do not celebrate a woman's sensuality, they commodify her.
Despite these advances, the construction of female characters on screen largely remains problematic and unsatisfying. Well, despite the huge success of the film Kabir Singh, which stars actor Shahid Kapoor, it's actually getting a lot of negative headlines, and that is because of what many believe is the misogyny and the excessive violence that the film projects.
साहब वो हाथ से फिसल गया साहब, नहीं
साले इतना दारू पिएगा मर जाएगा साले। मेरा घर है, मैं जो करूँगा करूँगा।
So if we are eulogizing misogyny, the question to be asked is, who are we representing today?
I've also received messages from girls saying we were in the theatre watching the film and we felt unsafe while we were watching the film because we were surrounded by a group of men who was just cheering, clapping and applauding everything that was going on at all the wrong places in the film.
He's projected as the hero who, you know, who gets the girl. And
that's for,
takes a knife out to tell a woman to take her clothes off. Is that acceptable?
We are not correct.
In the US, cartoonist Alison Bechdel helped to popularize the Bechdel test. This is an informal test that gauges how female-friendly a film is. The requirements are: a film has to have 2 women in it. The 2 women have to talk to each other. They have to talk to each other about something other than a man. We applied the test to the top 10 Bollywood hits of the last 4 years. Only 3 films passed.
Few opportunities we give women to come out of a movie feeling excited and empowered by the female characters. However abysmal the numbers are in real life, it's far worse in fiction, where you make it up. It can be anything you want, and we make it worse than the crappy reality.
Yeah, we're just raising a lot of questions in this film, you know. So I must say that, you know, Deepa has written a wonderful book, which I think is a different take on it. She calls it Sheroes, where I think, Deepa, if you tell us how you've really shown the characters that we have, the women, and I was very inspired by that book, and I think that's how I actually got the idea. And just before we go to that, because this film trailer was shown, I was also very taken up by the fact that the Geena Davis Institute is doing a lot of research based on data. And that, I think, is very important, that we need to now start proving. Ye nahi kehna hai ki, haan, this is what's wrong and this is what we have to do. But I think in Hollywood, they've achieved a lot of success by providing data, which is scientifically done through Google. They have some tools that they use. It's called spell check for bias. So they analyze the script even before making the film. They apply certain parameters, or they have something called the inclusion quotient tool, where they figure out, like you do on Facebook tagging, how many women are talking, how many men are talking, what are they talking. So I think it's time now, using what we can do.
The clips you're showing are what they call today the item song, and of course they are objectifying and commodifying the women. But in a culture where men and women are not allowed to, and again I keep saying that urban India and the rest of India are two totally different planets, are not allowed to mingle freely, this chhed-chhad becomes part of our culture. And it is that which we find in our songs. And now they're getting aggressive, the chhed-chhad, what we call. But even in the old film, you had very poetic songs, but chhed-chhad. In Baharon Mein Akele Na Phiro, or Mana Jab Ne Pukara Nahi. All these were chhed-chhad songs, and they are accepted as part of the culture, because that is the only way a man and a woman can have some kind of conversation. And the girl being all coy and saying jao jao, hato hato, that kind of thing, because that is the only way she knows. She has been taught how to respond, to this kind of thing. I mean, there was a song, Rafta Rafta Dekho Aankh Meri Ladi Hai, and the girl keeps saying, ye maine to aisa nahi kaha tha, and it goes on in a kind of a chhed-chhad way. And there is a certain amount of youthful flirtation, which is part of a courtship ritual among young people. But what our films converted to is a kind of a theme of the woman, and the woman not having a choice to say no. I mean, tu haan kar ya na kar, tu hai meri kiran is what is being pushed through our culture, and it's always a male gaze. We have hardly any films in which a woman looks at him and says, "Oh, handsome man, maybe I should woo him," and they sing a song wooing the man. It's always the man looking at the woman, deciding that she's the one for him, and then wooing her, and the girl not having the choice to say no. So I think that is more, even the apart from the item songs, I think these teasing songs are more worrisome than the aggressively item songs, which are obviously picturized on cabaret dancers or bar dancers, who according to our perception are, well, they're up for grabs anyway. So it's wrong, but that's how it projects in our cinema.
And even, like the so-called Shair is talking about lamenting the human condition. He will say that is rang badalti duniya mein insaan ki niyat theek nahi, nikla na karo tum saj dhaj ke, iman ki niyat theek nahi. So the onus is on that the woman doesn't have to dress up and go, because the iman is, in danger. So Praveen had a point to add. So Praveen, please.
हमें कहीं ना कहीं इस बात पर आर्गुमेंट उठाना होगा कि फिल्में केवल मनोरंजन का साधन है। बहुत बार हमें ये बताया जाता है कि फिल्मों का हमारे जीवन से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, लेकिन इसकी अगर शुरुआत से बात की जाए तो रोटी कपड़ा और मकान की अपार सफलता के बाद माँ बापों ने अपने बच्चों का नाम मनोज कुमार और मनोज रखना शुरू कर दिया। दीवार के बाद विजय, कुछ कुछ होता है के बाद काजोल, रोहित, राहुल। तो मुझे लगता है कि हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम ने जितना हमें इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं किया होगा, उससे कहीं ज्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस हमारे फिल्मों ने हमको किया है। आज AIB ने एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग वीडियो अपलोड किया है कि हरासमेंट थ्रू आउट द एजेस, और जिसमें कहा है कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में 2 इंडियन मेल को अरेस्ट किया जाए। ऑस्ट्रेलिया में 2 मेल को अरेस्ट किया जाता है सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट के केस में, और उनका वकील जो है वो कोर्ट में ये दलील देता है कि उनके जो क्लाइंट है उन पर हिंदी फिल्मों का काफी ज्यादा असर है, हिंदी गानों का काफी ज्यादा असर है। उसकी वजह से इस प्रकार की उन्होंने की है, तो उनको रिलीव कर दिया जाए। तो फिल्में कहीं ना कहीं हमें ये सिखाती है, हमें बताती है कि हमें किस तरह से बर्ताव करना चाहिए। एक आखिरी बात मैं जोड़ना चाहूंगा कि जब हम लोग बात कर रहे थे अपने आइटम सॉन्ग्स की, तो महाराष्ट्र का जो विदर्भ रीजन है और उसमें एक ईस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ विदर्भा है, यहाँ पर दिवाली में एक मंडई नाम का कल्चरल फेस्टिवल ऑर्गेनाइज किया जाता है, जिसमें पूरे दिन भर अलग अलग प्रकार के स्टेज शोज होते हैं। रात को एक बहुत घटिया सा एक परफॉर्मेंस होता है जिसको कहा जाता है डांस हंगामा। ये एक होता है एंट्री वाला, जिसमें सब मर्द औरत बाल बच्चे सब देखने आते हैं। दूसरा होता है नो एंट्री का। इस नो एंट्री में जिस प्रकार के गाने बजाए जाते हैं, लड़कियां न्यूड होकर परफॉर्म करती है, और आपके पास जितना ज्यादा पैसा है उतना आप नजदीक जाकर उस औरत को देख सकते हो। तो हम लोग जो बात कर रहे थे कि इस तरह के गाने क्यों बना जाते, शायद मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं ये मार्केट की भी नीड बन चुकी है कि ऐसे गाने की शायद परफॉर्म किए जाएंगे। मुझे नहीं लगता कि साहिर लुधियाना की किसी गाने पर आइटम सॉन्ग परफॉर्म किया जाएगा। तो जिस प्रकार का हमारा समाज है, जिस प्रकार की हमारी इकोनॉमी पैट्रियार्कल माइंडसेट की है, ओरिएंटेशन उसका पैट्रियार्कल है, तो ऐसी फिल्में बनेगी, लेकिन हमें सवाल उठाने ही होंगे। और मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं कबीर सिंह जैसी फिल्मों ने हमें ये प्लेटफॉर्म हमारे लिए प्लेटफॉर्म इस्तेमाल बनाया है कि जहां पर हम लोग इस तरह की मैस्कुलिनिटी, इस तरह के कल्चर पर सवाल करें।
अरे अमोल भाई,
हाँ,
अरे मेरा एक फोटो।
I think we need to mute here. We need to mute someone called Redmi.
I think Redmi is Altamash, or no? I don't know.
I wanted to say, Praveen, आपने जो बात की ना, I think it's very important कि I wanted to point out कि Mava itself was, I think, founded on a very interesting premise. I don't know if many of you have been to the website or not. There was an ad put out in 1991, I think, by a very popular journalist who's a very close friend, C.Y. Gopinath, who said, "Wanted men who believe that wives are not for battering." So, मतलब इतनी पहले भी this he put out an ad in the, I think if you'll go to the Mava website, you'll read the story that this was an ad he put out in so long ago that in 1991, say, and 200 men responded, and I think that's when Harish took on the mantle. But I'm just saying that, you know, this thought of wanted men who believe wives are not for battering, I mean, that in itself says a lot, and that's how I think Mava has started doing the fantastic work they're doing.
Small anecdote from a book by a Dalit writer, most probably I think it's Daya Pawar's book, where he says that his father didn't want to beat his wife, but the whole community wanted him to beat her. So what he used to do was, under the behind the closed doors, he used to hit the pillow and create the noise as if he is beating his wife. So, you know, to prove the masculinity, he has to do that. So as a rule. Yeah. So some Dalit writer has written it, and it's very, I mean, it's very sad that we are living in such a society.
Absolutely, no words really. Like, you know, when we start off with the problems in films, and then, you know, like, it is also intrinsically connected to our daily living, and all the kind of institutions which are actually like benefiting of this medium. Are really having their own tenets on how films should be made, and it's even more important that these kind of online discussions, and in a better post-pandemic world, maybe offline too. And I think very, very important is that power of the audience, that at whatever level you are watching it, your IMDb rating, your Netflix subscription, your one ticket that's going to go and buy the film, that is actually it's contributing to the overall you know, business model of how films are made, what kind of films are chosen over the others. So a lot of takeaways from here.
One thing that is stuck in my mind is what Deepa said. End of the day, it's all about what we take away. I think a film industry is the largest in the world that we have, the whole Hindi cinema industry that we have. And everyone here calls themselves as a profession. It's their profession. Acting is their profession. Filmmakers are making films to earn money. So when we go to preach them that this is not good for the society, this is not, I don't think they're going to take it or buy what we say? Or is it the other way, that we are buying what they are selling to us, or they are selling what we are buying? That is one big question which I'm left with. The other thing what I would like to add here is a lot is being conditioned within us from the day we are born. A boy baby is born, it's blue. A girl baby is born, it's pink. And you can't play with the doll, the boy can't play with the doll, or the girl, you always buy her a doll, you don't give her a car. So this is the way I think we are raised, and this is what we grasp from whatever we see. And the violence, yes, people see growing up in their families, and they're very comfortable watching it on when it is shown on the larger screen. And for some, movies are mere entertainment, whether they don't understand whether there's violence, whether there's something which is antisocial shown on the screen. Nothing goes in. They're just there for those 2.5, 3 hours, enjoying what is there, because they want to forget what is actually happening in their real lives. So it's a very vast topic to discuss, and each one of us, I think, will have our own perspective or views to share. So coming back to our organization as Seroptimist, what we do here is to educate, to enable, and to empower our girls and women. Maybe when they are financially independent and they are educated, they can at least say a no to whatever is happening to them in their families, or with their fathers, their brothers, husbands. They can at least stand up on their feet. So that is our little bit that we really strive to achieve, to change lives, and to give our girls a platform that they can stand up and say, I don't need a man. I can survive all by myself. So that is what we do. And Seroptimist International of Bangalore, we have our own vocational training center. So when these girls come, we hear different stories. Somebody wants to earn a little bit extra money because she wants to send her child to a better school. Her husband has lost his job, or he's a drunkard, and these things go on and on. And yes, movies, the kind of influence they have on our lives is tremendous. As Rashmi said, we know all the songs and the clips which were played by Sachit. We know these songs. We've seen these. They've been biggest hits of their times. So I think it is time that we as women also say no, and don't let them make us as objects and project us as, these kind of add-ons to make their movies colorful or make their movies interesting or draw audiences. I think we also have a big role in saying a no to all these things. And on this day, the International Day to End Violence Against Women, I would like to thank Harish ji and all these men who are here today, Sunil ji, Praveen, Sachit, everybody. I think we've been seeing in Facebook that teach your sons how to respect women. And being men, I think they are doing a wonderful job by telling their kind how they are supposed to behave, what they are supposed to do, what they are not supposed to do. And that is, I think, a very, very great thing they are doing, and hats off to you all. And we thank you all for being or doing what you're doing. And we look forward for more collaboration with you. And it's been a great, great evening. And I've been getting messages saying that it's such a wonderful, interesting topics, and you have such wonderful panelists. So that's it from me. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mamta. Before we end, I think Rohit has a point.
So first question I have that when I see the movies of past time, the old movies, so there are not of like very content of violence involved in that. I heard the conversation of Nasruddin Shah when he says that कि जो सिनेमा का दर है वो आने समय से वो गिरता रहा है और उसमें ये चीजें इंक्लूड की गई है वायलेंस. सो आई वांट टू नो कि ये कब ऐसा दौर था जब ये पूरा टर्न हुआ कि ये जब मूवीज में वायलेंस दिखाना शुरू किया गया एंड मूवीज में एक तरीके का कंटेंट दिखाना शुरू किया जहाँ बहुत पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी के बारे में वो चीजें झलकती हैं। और मैंने ये बात भी सुनी है कि दिल वाले दुल्हनिया के बाद भी मूवीज का ट्रेंड चेंज हुआ है। लाइक मूवीज आर मोर टू बी लाइक कि वो रोमांटिसाइज होती हैं एंड शाहरुख खान ब्रिंग्स अ ट्रेंड। एंड ऑल्सो सेकंड क्वेश्चन इज दैट कि जब हमने बात की वो कबीर सिंह वाले सिचुएशन की, जहाँ पे एक लड़का एक लड़की को रंग लगाता है एंड कबीर सिंह आके उसके ऊपर लड़के के ऊपर गुस्सा हो जाता है और उसके साथ मारा पीटी करता है। सो वहां पे बॉयज के पास एक चॉइस आता है कि वो लड़का बने कि जिसने वो लड़की के ऊपर रंग लगाया, कि वो लड़का बने कि वो जो लड़की को बचा रहा है। सो इफ आई वांट टू आस्क सुनील दैट हाउ लाइक
आई वांट टू आस्क कि बॉयज के पास क्या दो ही चॉइस है?
No, I am just coming. No, I am not like, because it is set a context in the movie. Like how we are thinking, like they are not like liberated so much from their thoughts. So some point of time we have to think from their point of view. And I want to like coming here that how we can tackle this situation in the movie as a filmmaker. So that the objective of the movie is also served and we also not get into this something violence wala thing and all this thing. So
to answer to your all your questions in a short way is, basically as a filmmaker what I feel is you should first look inside you and do away with your patriarchal ideology. And that's the only answer. And particularly the male filmmakers, if they start doing that, all the other answers, you start getting on your own. Because as you said, earlier the films were quite idealistic and they were depicting your love for your country and being idealistic. And slowly the romantic era of Rajesh Khanna came, and then angry young man era of Amitabh Bachchan came. Again, as you said, with Shah Rukh Khan, it came the different kind of a romance and all that. But all along this, the patriarchy has been there in a subtle form, in a cute form, or in a family-oriented form. But dominating a woman, and in a way, it's the rape or kidnapping or passionately loving the woman in such a way that you want to own that person. So in a way, the whole patriarchal attitude is there in all sorts of eras. So what I would say that portraying positive images of women is the only answer, and positive images of men on screen is another answer. And particularly, all the time the whole weightage is given onto women that you have to save yourself from all this atmosphere. But actually, men should be told that you start behaving differently. So the positive images of men, as you said, na rang lagane wala, na aurat ko bachane wala. The man who considers that the person, the girl he loves, is an independent person having independent choices. So the boy, if you portray a boy who believes in that, automatically the audience will slowly start getting some kind of an inspiration. Oh, this is a lovable hero who considers the person whom he loves as an independent human being, having her independent choice. So rather than teaching her how to behave, instead of protecting her or protecting her from other men, it's not his business. Actually, he just has to learn that she is an independent person. So the filmmakers have to sort of do away with their patriarchal attitude, and that's the only answer.
Yeah, I would like to add a line that we always use in the workshops at Mahava, and it really drives home the point that that generally when we speak about the work with people, the first instinct is, oh yes, we have to protect. I will be there and take a stand. But we need to be very clear that in the kind of world that we are trying to build, nobody needs protection. You can only protect the rights of the other. So as men, can you be aware of what are the rights that the government is giving you, not just you, but people of other the opposite gender and of the third gender, and there are these trans rights is another, and the recent trans bill and the kind of problems it has is another issue. But the idea being that protect, because even when we speak about the politics of loitering, there is this question of the right to risk, that it is an individual person's decision to choose the risk of, you know, occupying public space and kind of engaging with the city at some level. But so that has to be respected as a human right. And as we said that 25th November to December, the days of activism lead to Human Rights Day. And as Harish had said earlier, that, you know, we really like not look at women's rights and human rights as separate things, but intersectionality of it. And that is the only way ahead. Altamash, you have a poem that Rashmi has been saying would be the best way to, you know, kind of complete the whole discussion. So now is the time.
I'll just read what Altamash has written. The title is Mujhe Dar Lagta Hai. And the lines are, मुझे देखे जाने से नहीं, घुरे जाने से डर लगता है. मुझे पीछे चलने वालों से नहीं, पीछा करने वालों से डर लगता है. मुझे उन मीठी बातों से नहीं, उन भद्दी टिप्पणियों से डर लगता है. मत पूजो मुझको मंदिरों में, मुझे तो बस उड़ने दो आसमान के उन परिंदों में. मुझे तुम्हारी आदतों से नहीं, उन अश्लील हरकतों से डर लगता है. मुझे सड़कों पर सबके साथ चलने से नहीं, उस साथ में भी अकेलेपन के एहसास से डर लगता है. मुझे उन रातों के अंधेरों से नहीं, उन अंधेरों में जकड़े हुए दरिंदों से डर लगता है. मुझे पुरुषों से नहीं, उनकी शक्ल में छुपे हुए उन हैवानों से डर लगता है. मुझे तो बस डर लगता है कि कोई ऐसा दिन ना आए जब मैं ये बोल दूं कि अब तो मुझे जानवरों से नहीं, इंसानों से डर लगता है. मुझे डर लगता है.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rashmi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shakira. Thank you.
हाँ सर, हम तो मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी तेलंगाना हैदराबाद के रहने वाले हैं. सोशल वर्क डिपार्टमेंट है मेरा. मैं भी इसी पे काम करती हूँ. डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस इस पे ही रहता है हम लोग का भी, सोशल वर्क प्लानिंग पे.
बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया.
And you can find the recording of the session on our YouTube page, Mahava Mumbai.